Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, everyone. Welcome. We're going to give it a few minutes. It is 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The YouTube channel is receiving the content. It is starting. I'm going to give it a few more minutes to make sure everything is good to go. I'm changing the time a little bit. Again, like I said, I have been playing around with the time, and I decided to do it a little earlier, 7 o'clock rather than 8 o'clock. And I'm hoping it works well for me. All right, looks like we are live. It is 7:01 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, so let's get started. So guys, welcome back to an exciting server room show, episode 37. Cool, right? And let's get straight to it. I'm going to go straight to the Google Docs. Announcements. Big thank you to Lenovo for allowing me to use their awesome Lenovo TD340. That is our current lab machine that we have been using throughout the entire first season and also the season 2. My good friend Parker from the Discord, my network admin, he created 2 Google Docs for season 1 as well as season 2. And first quarter of the year, my subscriber goal is 50,000. We're getting there. We're going to get there. And I'm also working on callers for viewers. You guys are able to call me during the live stream, and we could talk to each other. You have a question, I'm hopefully try to answer it for you guys. So that's in progress kind of thing. I don't know if I'm going to fully deploy it, but I am working on that. Today's topic is all about building and capturing a reference image with SCCM 1710. I'm not a huge fan with building and capturing reference images. I do not like them. I don't even like them with MDT, but a lot of you guys like to do it for some reason. I'm also sharing out a Microsoft documentation of creating a task sequence with capture an operating system within the SCCM. Is basically what I'm going to show you guys with pictures and details, because right here it gives you text and it doesn't really break it down for you guys. This is my SCCM machine. This is the task sequence that I created for you guys. I will provide the PowerPoint as well as the Google Docs for you guys. Today's show is really self-explanatory, real short, real simple. Episode 36 was about 2 hours, so I'm trying to cut it down for this episode 37, maybe 45 minutes, 30 minutes with you guys. So this is the task sequence. The task sequence name doesn't really make sense because I am capturing a reference image, but the way that SCCM creates this reference image and captures it is it deploys the operating system with whatever applications and Windows updates and whatever tweaks you have, then it captures it. It's way different the way that you would do it with MDT. With MDT, it's like you have a physical machine or a virtual machine, you install the operating system, you get inside audit mode, you configure the user profile, you install all the applications, you install all Windows updates, you do all the tips and tricks or whatever hacks that you need to do on this reference image. You shut it down. Within MDT, you create a task sequence to capture and SIP prep. You pixie boot to that, and it does it, right? With the latest MDT, I think 8450 or 80, I forgot what version. I think 8450 is the latest one. The task sequence to capture and your reference image is a problem during the SIP prep portion of it. Disabling it within the task sequence and then SIP prep your reference image manually and then shutting it down, then run the task sequence with only the captured portion will work. I showed you guys how to do that in one of my videos. So within SCCM, they do a little different because it deploys the operating system. It restarts the operating system or restarts the task sequence. I'm going to zoom in a little bit for you guys. Zoom in. So it restarts the machine. Or when you start the task sequence, it restarts it in Windows PE. It partitions it, whether it's BIOS or Unify. It applies the operating systems. It applies the Windows settings, which is basically the username, your organizational name, the product key, and then if you're enabling your admin. It applies networks if you have like a DNS and all that stuff. Right now, I'm joining, I created a work group, BTNHD, but this is not something that you're going to do within your work environment. Most likely you want to join it within your domain, and then you provide the credentials that will allow you to add it to your domain. And if you have any special settings within your adapters, like DHCP or an IP address, you could do it this way as well. Apply device drivers. This will set up the Windows Configuration Manager. I think this is like one of the big difference between MDT and SCCM, is that SCCM, when it captures the reference image, it installs the client already on the machine with whatever installation properties you have, which is pretty cool. And then it preps it. This is the capture reference machine portion of it. It preps the manager, prepares the operating system, and then it captures it to whatever location you provided during the process of creating your task sequence. Now, I want to show you guys with the PowerPoint, and again, I will provide the PowerPoint at the end of the show because it breaks down everything for you easily. So rather than doing all this stuff live, because you know how it goes, you do stuff live and stuff doesn't want to work the way you want it to work. So this is the reason why I do screenshots and I do the PowerPoint. And if I have any issues during my process, I will take the screenshot anyway and show you guys the error and how to fix it. Okay, so first thing that you need to do is open up your SCCM console. You want to go inside software library. Within software library, overview, operating systems, expand that, and you're going to see task sequence. You want to right click on your task sequence and you want to what? Create a task sequence, right? From here, you got many options, and the option that you want would be build and capture a reference operating system, which is the second one. Click on next. You give your task sequence a name, a description, and a boot image. Okay, so my task sequence name, again, I gave it a Windows 10 V17.9. I made a mistake here. It was supposed to be 1710 rather than 1790. Captured reference image, and then you hit browse, and you browse for that particular WinPE. Now, this WinPE that I have is 64-bit, and it's the version 1709, which I went over with you guys a long time ago of upgrading your MDT within your SCCM and also upgrading your ADK within your SCCM. So this is the reason why I have this boot image. Next thing that you need to do is once you fill out these two portions right here, click on next, and it's time to pick your operating system. Now, within my operating system node, I already have Windows 10 already imported. So when you click on browse, you will get this nice little window right here, and you pick your poison. Okay, I am going to be picking Windows 10 V1709, and then when you pick your image package, you're gonna find that you're gonna have multiple choices within your image index. Now, it really depends on how or what you're deploying within your environment. For me, I'm going to be deploying Windows 10 Enterprise, so that's what I picked. If you have a product key, go for it, but most likely us admins have a KMS server, right? A key management server within our infrastructure that will license our operating system. So if you don't want to enter a product key, you don't, but this is where you enter your product key. I would definitely say enable the accounts for admin, provide a password, confirm it, make sure you write it down. That would be your local admin password onto the machine, okay? This admin password is not the domain admin level. This is a local admin password. So once you provide that, you hit next, and it's time to configure your network. Again, if you want this to be joined within your domain, you enter your domain. You could actually tell it a specific domain OU and also provide an account. For me, I just gave it a work group BTNHD. Okay, this is only for the lab. Hit next, and here comes your install configuration manager client. By default, I already have this stuff set up. This is already configured within my SCCM, so it's basically just grabbing the information that I inserted during my configuration of the SCCM. And I did a video for you guys a long time ago how to configure all the client settings and all that stuff, so check that out. I would definitely leave a link at the bottom of the video so you guys could check that video, how to configure the client, as well as put the link inside the Google Docs. So once you have all that stuff, click next and install updates. Now, if you want your reference image to be fully up to date, fully patched, you could say available installations, all software updates. Most likely you will have a particular collection that will push out updates. For me, because it's a lab, I say do not install any software updates, and then you click next. Now, this is a portion that for us MDT users, we are installing applications manually within our reference image. With SCCM, you create your application packages first, right, with your silent switches and whatever modifications you have. Then this portion right here, you will hit the star and then you pick your packages. Okay. And the way that you insert your packages would be the order that each one would be installed. Okay. I didn't install any application within my reference image. Click next, and then you have the system preparation. I'm gonna hit next on this, and then specify the image properties. Give it a name, create it by, version, description is up to you. So I said Bernardo v.1, v1.0, and BTNHD capture task sequence in SCCM, and hit next. Then you have your capture image. Now, within the capture image, it needs a location. It's not your C drive or D drive. It needs a UNC path. Sorry. And make sure you give it a file name. That's the problem that I had, which I'm going to show you guys. I gave it a path name. I created a folder within my source, which sources is a folder that I created with you guys a long time ago. Again, it's a lot of videos that I created for you guys dealing with SCCM. So I'll definitely put the link at the bottom of the description so you guys can check out, so you can, you know, refresh your mind on why I have this source folder. So I copied the UFC path and I dropped it in there. By mistake, I hit next. Actually, not next, but from here, you want to hit set. Okay. I forgot about this right here. I didn't pay no attention to this exclamation point. I just hit set, and I provided the credentials needed to access that particular path. So I provided a username and a password, and there you go. Then I hit next, and then I got this warning right here. It said enter a value by using the following format. I wasn't really paying attention to this exclamation point. So I press OK, and the reason why I got that is because you have to provide a standard file name period WIM. That's the extension that when when SCCM is capturing your WIM image, when SCCM is capturing your reference image, it's creating it as a WIM file. Okay. Then you're able to hit next, and then it gives you a nice little summary. Hit next again. It's going to do the progress. And if everything works well, you're going to get all these green check marks. It's always a good thing when you're getting these green check marks with SCCM. We're going to hit close on that. And the next thing that we need to do is locate our task sequence, right? And right click on that task sequence, and we need to deploy it. So click on deploy, and you get to deploy software wizard. And from here, by default, it's going to say the task sequence name. You need to pick a collection. So I hit browse, and I believe it's going to give you a nice little warning. Click OK on that, and you pick your collection. Now for me, because I'm deploying to an empty container to push out this operating system and then do whatever I needed to do, like Windows updates, applications, whatever tricks or, you know, hacks that I have with the task sequence, it needs to be like an unknown computer. So I picked unknown computers for my container. Press OK, and there you go. Hit next. And once you hit next, by default, action is install. Purpose available straight off. But you got to make sure you make available in the following. So click on this drop down menu and make sure it's only media and Pixie, because I only want this task sequence to be available during Pixie time. Okay, pick your I picked only media and Pixie. Hit next. Scheduling, I left everything as default, but you are able to specify a schedule for this deployment. If not, you could just leave it alone. It will show up right away. Click next. For user experience, don't really need to do anything here because you're not really deploying this task sequence or advertising this task sequence to your clients. So you don't really need to touch it. So click next. Alerts, if you want any specific alerts, you could enable it here. For me, I just left it as the default. Leave it alone. Click next. And for your DP, by default, I left it as download content locally when needed by running the task sequence, and I hit next. Get a nice little summary, hit next again, and the progress is going to go through, and all green check marks. It's always a great, like I say it every time, it's always a good thing when you get these green check marks with SCCM, right? But this is like all visual. The green stuff is great, but behind the scenes is what it's like the magic happens. Even though it says green, there's always a 50-50 chance like behind the scenes something messed up. So that's why you always go inside the monitoring node and look at the status of your configuration server, because that will really tell you if stuff is working correctly. Close this. And once you close it, for me, I created a brand new virtual machine out of the box. Nothing, no operating system. I called it Golden. And I hit play. And I pressed F12 like a madman until I was able to pixie boot. As you can see, it is pointing to the IP address of my SCCM, which I want to show you guys that is my IP address. So it's 192.168.1.110. If we go here, and this is my SCCM right here. So let me zoom in for you guys. So this is my SCCM. So if we follow it, because it's highlighted, this is the IP address, see? 192.168.1.110. 1.1.110. All right. And let's go back here. So once this process goes through, you're going to get this. Now, I definitely recommend that you put a lock or do not put the password within your SCCM and your MDT. By default, MDT has your password uncrypted, so it's plain text, right? And I think a lot of you have kind of suggested that it's best practice to not put your password within the custom settings.ini file as well as your SCCM properties. Do not put the password there, because anyone could just press F12 and it could go straight through, pick a task sequence and just go do its thing. Here, it stops you. So if you don't know the password to continue, you can't really do anything. So that's how I have it set up with my SCCM. So I enter the password, I hit next. Right now it's trying to retrieve the policies for this particular computer. This computer is known as an unknown computer. So by default, this computer or this virtual machine that I created is classified or placed within the unknown collection. So whatever is being advertised within the unknown collection is going to retrieve or receive the task sequences that I advertised for that particular collection. So the collection that we need to pick is our capture reference image. So I select it, hit next. It's doing its thing. It's running the partition. It's partitioning. It's downloading the install.wim. This right here is going inside the folder of where the operating system stuff was imported into. And it's applying the operating system. And it's going to continue. It's on phase 3. It's going to continue again. It's doing its thing. Again, it's continuing doing. Eventually, it's going to get this. It's going to restart. Once it restarts, just leave it alone, because it's going to constantly do its thing. It's going to start service. It's going to start the services. Start getting ready. Again, you don't really need to touch it at all. The only thing that I did not do within my task sequence, which I kind of advise everyone, is add a shutdown variable. So once everything is done, once your capture is completed, shut down the virtual machine. I didn't do that. And if you don't do that, what's going to happen is that your machine is going to constantly go. Like right now, it's initializing the System Center Configuration Manager client, which is a good thing. Once it's finished, it's going to restart again. Actually, it's downloading the boot. It's preparing the OS. It's preparing the OS again. It's running the sit prep command. It's going to restart. It's restarting again. Now it's loading the files. It's doing another restart. Now it's going back inside your SCCM environment, and it's initializing the hardware devices, and it's starting the Windows up. and eventually it's going to start capturing your reference image. Now, if you pay attention to the path that you provided, you go back in here, you refresh it a couple of times, you're going to see that it's going to create the WIM file for you. For me, it was 0 kilobytes, so it took some time for it to show up that it was capturing. Eventually, it will show up, like right now, capturing volume 101, and then you go back again, like size is going up, so it's doing pretty good. Like overall, it really depends on how much you're pushing out to your virtual, not your virtual machine, but it really depends on how much stuff you're entering or placing inside your reference image. If you're installing like Office 2016, if you're installing like Acrobat stuff or Adobe products or whatever type of applications, and you pushing out Windows updates, your WIM image is going to be huge. This is the reason why I do not like capturing reference images, because this image right here is going to be huge, and then deploying it to your machines, it's just going to be a monster within your network. Huge bottleneck. Well, if you have the money and you have like a strong pipeline within your network, it wouldn't bother you, it wouldn't phase you. But for small businesses that don't have a huge pipeline to push out a 5 to 6 gig WIM image to multiple machines at the same time, I don't really recommend. I like the old school way. SCCM deploys the operating system. Once it's done, it goes inside the section of installing all the applications. Once all the applications are done, it does whatever customizations you want. Once that's done, it restarts, or it adds it to the domain and it restarts. Done. Now for Windows updates, I have a WSUS server that pushes out all the updates during that process. Or you could push it out with SCCM. Okay, so this is what I was talking about. Like right now, once it finished capturing, what's going to happen is it's going to continue. Once it captures, it's going to restart, and it's going to give you the open box experience. But it finished capturing it. It's done. It's completed. I went through all the process. I went to the United States. I went to GAS. I did the keyboard layout. I created a user account and everything just to make sure that this was completed. Now, this is what I was telling you guys. You got to make sure you got to go inside your task sequence and make sure you add a shutdown variable at the very end. If not, what's going to happen is that your golden image is going to continuously get into the open box experience. It's going to get to this. It's not going to shut down. So, yeah, and that's it. Like, again, today's show is super, super simple. I don't like capturing reference image at all. I know a couple of you guys like doing it. It makes life easy for you. But for me, I just don't like it. And like I said, like at the end right here, you most likely you might want to add like a shutdown request. Like you got the restart computer. Do they have? I don't think they have a shutdown. Do they have a shutdown? You got the restore, images, drivers, settings. And then they used to have a shutdown. Run line command. You know, where they used to have a shutdown. I think I'm thinking more of like the MDT era, because I know MDT used to have a shutdown. Let's see something. I still have my MDT somewhere around here. Because I know they used to have a shutdown variable that allows you to go inside the task sequence. So let's go here. If that's the case, you probably need to do maybe a command line or a PowerShell command to shut down the machine. See if I can load this up real quick for you guys. Let me check out the chat to see if anyone is there. I know it's pretty early. A couple of you guys. Hey, how you doing? How's everyone doing? We got 8 strong people watching. I appreciate you guys coming by, supporting. I know it's a little early, but I'm trying to play around with the times with you guys to see how well it works. But I'm really liking the 7 o'clock time slot, so I'll probably stick with the 7 o'clock time slot. I don't know yet. So let's go. All right, so I'm just checking something out with him in my MDT server, and we're gonna end it. I'm gonna end it around 7:30. So like I said, today's show is really short and simple. I'm still working on more materials for future shows for you guys. The only reason that I'm going inside my MDT server is because I feel like definitely within the task sequence of MDT, they had an option to shut down. So let that load up. And let's go inside the task sequence while this guy's taking sweet time loading up. All right, so let's go to task sequence. And I'm going to pick a random one, doesn't matter. Oh, everything's in folders. All right, so this is the golden image. Let's just pick this guy right here. Is there anything in there? There it goes. Let's go to properties. And this kind of sucks. If MDT has it and SCCM doesn't have this variable to add it within your task sequence, Microsoft, you got to get it together. Come on. SCCM is a corporate deployment application, and you don't have this option. So add and general, and I don't have it. Oh, interesting. That's interesting. I thought they really had a shutdown. Huh. Oh well. All right, guys. So I'm gonna end it right here. I know it's Friday, 7 o'clock. I did it a little early for you guys. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. I will provide the PowerPoint at the end of the show so you guys can get a copy, play around with it. I don't like doing captured reference image. It's just me. I just love using SCCM and MDT the following way: deploy the operating system, deploy the applications, do everything just live rather than the capture image. Because for me, when you need to update something, you just go inside the task sequence or within your deployment server, do a couple of modifications there rather than opening up your reference WIM image, making the modifications there, repackaging it again. You have to redeploy it, you have to import it inside your MDT or SCCM, create another task. It's just, for me, it's a pain in the butt. A lot of you might have your own way to do things, your own way to do things, which is easier. But for me, I rather do it this way. Again, hopefully you guys enjoy, and I catch you guys on the next one. Before I go, let's see if anyone's out there chatting. All right, we have one person. We have Dude Fox Live. Hello. But hopefully you guys enjoy. I'm out of here. Catch you guys on the next one. And hopefully next week, Server Room 38. I don't know when I'm going to be pushing out, but stay tuned for that. If you have any questions or comments or concerns, leave them at the description part, underneath the description part, the chat. I don't know. I'm crazy. It's just Friday. It's late. Thank you so much, and I catch you guys on the next one. Wait, we got someone said just script the shutdown. Yes. Yeah, that is true. I think I did the shutdown. I'm getting so confused because I know I did the shutdown a long time ago, and I think I probably scripted. I probably created a batch file that shut it down. But you are correct, my good friend. You are able to just script it, and it just shuts down. And but I really felt like SCCM or MDT had an option to just shut down the machine, or was it only the task sequence to capture within SCCM? I mean, for MDT, I'm not too sure. I think I'm losing it. I think I'm really losing it. Oh, wow. Try to find. Nope, I don't have upgrade. Oh, all right. Overall, guys, thank you so much. And I catch you guys on the next one. Peace out. All right, so how you end this? Because I always forget how to end this stuff. All right, later, guys.